Hi, I'm Blisy. Hey guys, if you enjoy this video, I appreciate a like, comment, sub, and little bell notification. Thanks so much, enjoy. Thanks to my sponsors for your continued support, and to Bradley Woodring for donating the $50 to allow me to buy this copy of Colosseum. Thank you guys so much. Hey everyone, today I'm going to teach you how to calibrate your seed range and find your seed and adjust your seed in Pokemon Colosseum. So there's a few things about this that I will go over. So I'm not going to be showing you how to catch a shiny or anything in this video. That's the follow-up video to this. This is just an intro guide on the ways to advance your frames and the ways to find your initial seed. So there's a few things I'll go over of note that you'll need beforehand. You're going to need Eon Timer. You're going to need it in the 3rd gen tab, a calibration set to 0, target frame set to 0, pre-timer set to 20,000. You're also going to need the program XDCeed. This program was made by Jinzaru, a Japanese Pokemon player and RNGer. The whole program is in Japanese. You cannot translate it to, there's no English version or English button in it. So a minimal understanding of Japanese is helpful. However, I will explain what everything in this video does. And I will hopefully remember to upload pictures of everything translated for you. But you don't need to do anything fast in this game, so you can just take your time and really get used to what everything does. So there's a few things you need to understand. The GameCube Colosseum, oh, and this is only for Colosseum, not XD Gale of Darkness, only Colosseum. So the GameCube uses a nanosecond timer to boot up when it seeds its RNG. And the thing about that is that means we can't be precise with our button input when we start this. So if we hit start here, we couldn't, a human being consistent on a nanosecond timer really is impossible. But the method to doing this is going into your Wii or GameCube settings. Now, I prefer the Nintendo Wii because of a few things. One, there we go. One, I find the seeds I get to be more consistent. But two, it's easier in that in the GameCube, if you want to get to the date and time settings, you have to open it up and open up the disk tray every single time to prevent it from auto booting to the GameCube disk. With the Wii, you just turn it off and on. Okay, so the way to get around the nanosecond boot range is if we set the date and time to the same thing every single time, we're not going to get a consistent seed, but we'll get a consistent seed range. So we're always going to set the seed to January 1st, 2000. And my method is based like heavily off of Jinzaru's method and Jinzaru's Japanese guides, requires you to set the date to January 1st, 2000. And the time set to 00. I'll go up. So we're going to do that in a moment, but before we get into the actual literal game, I'm going to go over XDCeed. So when you boot it up, it's going to be on this tab right here. You're going to go over to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to go to the 5th tab, and this is your seed finding tab. And so I'll explain what every single box in here does. The first box is the seed range you're willing to search through. Now this should hopefully get smaller and smaller the more you do it, but it should start off fairly large. Now doing the whole range at the beginning is not a good idea. You're not going to get, it's going to take like 5 hours to find the seed, and you'll probably find multiple seeds. So I suggest the starting range should be 3,000 to 4 FFFF. This will take still quite a long time, like probably 20 to 30 minutes, maybe even more. However, the plus side to this search is once you find a seed, so you'll do your search, and the little seed will pop up here, and I'll show you what that looks like. You write the seed down, and so I have a list of all of the seeds I've ever hit in these games. One is on the GameCube, one's on the Wii. So on the GameCube, I'm hitting around the 3,500, like the first 2 digits will be 3.5 somewhere. And that's pretty much always what I've hit. I've hit some 3.7s and 3.6s. On the Wii, I hit 3A twice, and then all 4s from then on. So I pretty much always hit somewhere in the above the 4200 range, or 420 range. So when you get a result, you can stop the search right away. You don't need to look for more results. You can just you can just copy it and save it. And so as you can see from this is, my first range was this, then my second one was this, and then my third one was this. And so then I've narrowed it down to where my search looks like this. Hold on. My search range is now simply this. And it doesn't take more than 4 or 5 minutes to find a seed at a time now, which is definitely quicker than a half hour. So I'm going to reiterate this. Your initial seed range should not be this at first. It should start with the 3-0, like 3-0 here to 4 and then all Fs. Okay? But this is what mine has calibrated to become, and it might make a bit more sense once I show you how to boot it. So what these are is trainer names, and now what we're going to do is boot up into the game like normal so I can explain what all of these do easily. But this is the only window you need to find your seed. So we're going to hit confirm here and start Eon Timer at the same time. And we're going to back out, and I'm going to go to the disk channel. On the GameCube, you'd close the lid, and you would go to the menu where you can start the game. I also tend to mute the GameCube. It'll be done by then. No, it won't. I tend to mute the GameCube so I don't hear the noise. Here we go. Okay, so on the 6th beep, when Eon Timer runs out, you simply hit A to start the game. And so the good thing about this game is once you start it, nothing needs to be rushed. It's very nice. You can just kind of take your time and, relax with it. So you're going to start the game up. You have to have a you don't even actually have to save file, but you start the game up and you go to the Battle Now option right here. So that is what this corresponds to, these 3 in this box here. This box and these 2 boxes don't have to do with seed finding per se. It more has to do with seed advances, which I will go over in a little bit later on in the video. So the way you find your seed is you have your large range initially. Again, the range should be 3-0, and then this 4 should then be followed by 7 Fs. That should be your initial search range, I think. That is how I did it, and I'll show you how to narrow it down in a moment, but I'm not going to do that search range because that takes a long time. Okay, so how you find your seed. You go into single battle, you hit ultimate difficulty, and you look at your trainer name and the Pokemon in the party. So each of these Japanese names corresponds to an English named trainer. You can look them up on Bulbapedia to be helpful, and it'll also show you the other languages. Seth is the middle one. If you can read katakana, it says Utah. So it would be Seth, and then Blaziken is the first Pokemon here. So I will go over which all of these are. The first one, Leo in katakana, is Wes. The second one, again, Yuta, is Seth. The third one, Tatsuki, is Thomas. I'm pretty sure that's Tatsuki. Is Thomas. The Pokemon, all 3 trainers can have the same 8 teams. I tend to only look at the first Pokemon of each team. So it's Blaziken, Entei, Swampert, Raikou, Meganium, Suicune. Suicune's an exception because even if you don't know any Japanese, there's a number 2 here. That means Porygon 2. So if you see Porygon 2, you know you can pick this one. This is Metagross, and this is Heracross. So we have Seth with Blaziken. And then you just back out and you do it again. And you have to do this 8 times. So we have Seth, and then we go to Metagross. Seth again, and we go to Entei. Seth a 4th time, we go to Blaziken again. Wes to Meganium. Wes to Heracross, Seth to Blaziken again, and Wes to Raikou. And that is all you have to do to search for an initial seed. And you hit this button, which is the search button, and you wait. Wow. I was going to pause it, but I found my seed literally instantly. That's very, very rare. So I'm going to pause it. So you can, like I said, you can stop it once you find one seed at all. And I'm going to go over what these all are. I actually am not, these three are not relevant when you're finding your initial seed. You really do not have to worry about it. This is your initial seed. So copy that down and write it down into a text document. And from here, you can just start to RNG. In my opinion, as long as you're saved in a good area for the Pokemon you want to RNG, you can go watch my... you should watch the rest of this video to go over how to advance frames, but you can just go watch my video on how to RNG right now after you see how to frame advance. So, once you do your RNG or you fail your RNG, the next time you boot it up, you know you have one bit of information. So you just have to turn your GameCube off or your Wii off, boot the game up at the same exact date and time, and do it again and again, and see what your seed range until you have multiple ranges. And so as you can see, the lowest frame I hit was a 1 here, and I hit it twice ever. So I don't even include it in my search. My search range is 4.2 to 4.4 and then 6 zeros after each of them, because I always basically hit between 4.2 and 4.3, somewhere in that range, almost every single time. And that's how I narrowed my search range. You'll get a repeat and a repeat and a repeat and a repeat. And again, I think on the Wii, I'm much more consistent. I was much more variable on the GameCube, so I'm not sure why, if it's just the Wii or what. Okay, so what do you do after you found your seed? Well, I cover that in the How to RNG videos, but so this is your starting seed, and this is your current seed. You can copy this current seed. You'll use this to find different Pokemon. And this will be all covered in How to RNG the Pokemon video. But I'm going to show you what methods you can use to advance your frame further. So, frame advancement methods include several different things. So over here, this is how to advance your frame using the Battle Now menu, using single and double battles here. You would paste your current seed here. You would paste how many frames you're trying to advance here. You would find this in one of the other programs that you need to download. Again, my tutorial on how to RNG Pokemon will cover that. So let's say you find a Pokemon and you need to advance 5,200 frames. Okay? These options, the top one here says singles. The bottom one here says doubles. All you need to look for is the first two characters. Each of these here, they all represent a difficulty. They're both the same. So these are both ultimate. This is ultimate singles. This is ultimate doubles. This is hard singles. This is hard doubles. Normal singles, normal doubles, easy singles, easy doubles. This is how many times you're willing to go in and out of the battle menu. Always leave it at 8. And this is how many frames you're willing to have left over to do through minor adjustments. Because this method can not really advance if it's below 1,000 frames. You can't really get anything good. So I always set this to 200. And then you hit the search button here, and you'll get a bunch of results. So ideally what you're looking for is 0 here, because if you're looking for 0, so actually let me rewind a little bit, I'm sorry. This is your current seed. This is what seed you'll be on after the frame advancements. This is how many frames you are able to advance using this method. So 5,200 would be exactly in this hypothetical situation what we are looking for. This is the remainder of frames you have afterwards. So you always want 0. Because if you have 0, that means all you have to do is this, which is a sequence of going in and out of battles, similarly to how we found our seed. And then you'd be done. But if you have a remainder, then you have to do other things. Now, I'll cover over the other frame advancement methods, but to be short, this remainder has to be divisible by 20 or 7 or a combination of both. The reason that is because the only other frame advancement methods that you can use for small frame advancements only go by 7 or by 20. So, for example, This 14 would be perfectly fine because we could do 2 frame advancements of 7. But this 16 would not be because we have no way of doing that. 47 would also be fine because we could do 2 frame advancements of 20 and then 1 of 7. Okay? 100 would be fine because we could just do 5 frame advancements of 20. So, in theory, if I wanted to do this 0 frame advancement, what does this mean? You can't read Japanese. I can't even read kanji. How do we know? So again, just take your time and go slowly, but the first symbol here, it looks like a smiley face. That means singles. The second symbol here is a kanji. All you have to do is match it up with one of these. So if you look at this one here, it matches up with this. So that means hardest difficulty. So that means I do singles, hardest difficulty, and I back out. The next one is the exact same step, so I do singles, hardest difficulty, and then I back out. The next one is still singles, again, because it's got the little happy face, but it's got a different kanji symbol. So I match it up over here, and it's the first one, or it's the third one. It looks similar to the first one, but it's not. Don't mix them up. It's the normal difficulty. So I'd go in and I'd back out of that. The next one is singles again, because it's the happy face, and then it's the hardest difficulty again. The next one is singles again, because it's the happy face. But the symbol is different. If you look, it's this one right here, which means hard. So you go in and you back out. Then the last one, oh, it's not the happy face, it's the other symbol. In Japanese, that is da. In katakana, that's da, and then that's this symbol, which if we line up again, can see is normal. So we go and we do normal on doubles and back out. It's simple as that. Your frame advancements are done. You'd have nothing. You could go into the game and go find your Pokemon. But let's say, for the sake of argument, I did this one, where I would need 20 advancements twice and 7 advancements once. Well, to do advancements of 20, it's very simple. You just go into the options, change your rumble setting from whatever it is. Mine is on right now. I switch it to off, and I save. That right there was just an advancement of 20 frames. Very simple. I do it again to get an advancement of 40 frames, and you have to save it. You can't quit out without saving. Saving is what does it. So I changed it again, and now I've advanced 40 frames. Excellent. That's the easiest way to advance 20 frames. There is another way to advance 20 frames. If you're at the PC and you save, this also advances 20 frames. So now I've done 60 frames, but there you go. So those are both methods to advance 20 frames. I always do the rumble one because it's just easier. The way to advance 7 frames would be to go into your PDA and look at your snag list and back right out. That's it. Simple as that. That is how you advance 7 frames. For the most part, you are done. There is there's not too many other ways to advance frames. However, there's 2 more methods that are meant for larger frame advancements. So I actually shouldn't have loaded into the game, but that's fine. I'm going to just turn it off and on. Because my actual seed doesn't matter. I just have to boot into the game again to show you guys, for example. So if you need to advance an extremely large amount of frames, I mean a lot of frames, what you need to do, so I'm not going to bother finding my initial seed right now because it's just teaching you how to do advancements. So if you need to advance an extremely large amount of frames, going into the battle now option and doing a single battle or a double battle, double battles advance it slightly more. Single battle advances it about 2,000 frames per second you're in the battle. And double battles also advance it about 2,100 frames per second you're in the battle. And so this would be if you needed to advance like that many frames. If you needed to advance that many frames, basically, what you would do is literally like open up a calculator. You would do like, 520,000,000, divided by 2,100 for a double battle, right? You'd have to be in there for 247 seconds to advance that many frames, which I don't even know. Oops. 20, that would be 247.6 seconds, 2 minutes. That'd be 40 minutes you'd have to be in that battle. That's like how long it would actually take. So that's what you'd have to do. And it will not be precise. So let's say I go in there, and so you wouldn't want to be there for exactly 2040. You want to give some room to do precise adjustment, because this is a very imprecise method, right? So Google told me that many seconds is 41 minutes. I would say go in there for, do a double battle or a single battle, depending on whichever you want to do, for 39 minutes. So let's say you finish doing it, you go in, and so it would literally just be picking this and hitting yes here, and then it advances that long. So once you're done, you back out. You shouldn't back out all the way, by the way. Do not back out all the way. You just stay to here. What you have to do is the same process as finding our initial seed, except the difference is you copy what your current seed was at the time of starting the double battle. So we found this as our current seed. Let's say we wanted to advance for 41 minutes in there. We'd click this box, hit seed, hit paste, and then we would search the range of frames we're aiming for. So we were aiming for, you know, in my theory, like, I believe it was 5 2s, like a bunch of zeros. So we would do a frame range of like 450,000 and like 550,000. We would do it like that. Then we would clear this and we would go into single battle ultimate and then do the answers again. And then it will tell us how many frames we've advanced in here. I'm not going to get like a real result if I keep doing it like I do it. So these are fake results, but basically I do this and you keep doing it until your results will shrink. So I got lucky and I had real results. But you keep doing it until your results would turn into... So you see, but you get less results every time, and eventually it will tell you how many frames you've advanced. And again, this is a more complicated method of doing it, but I will show it in a separate video. This is just so you understand the basics of how to do it, okay? So it will tell you how many frames you've advanced and what your new current seed is. Okay, so let's say I advanced, I wanted to get to frame 52000, right? I wanted to get to that frame, but I only advanced this many frames. So I would copy this, right? I'd put it here. I'd put my new current seed here, which is this. I'd paste that, right? Then what you do, so you know your current seed already, right? What you do, oh, cancel, sorry, because it doesn't matter. So what you do is go in one. So I do Wes Heracross, and I do a search. The first one is always it, so that means I advanced 1,387 frames. And I back out. Go in again. I get Thomas Meganium. That means I advanced this is how many frames you've advanced. Do you see what I'm saying? So that means I advanced 2,184 frames. And that means I'm getting closer and closer, because you can see I was here. Like, this is the frame I was on. Now this is the new frame I'm on. And you do this several times until you can get it below 10,000 frames or so. Like, you can get to 1,100. And once you get to like 1,100 frames, basically, like 10,000 right here, you can start using this method again. Aside from that, there's really no other methods you need to know about. I know this was probably a bit confusing. I hope you guys were able to follow. This video is really mostly meant to be a reference for my mostly meant to be a reference video for my Colosseum RNG videos that I'll be putting out. So I'll probably put the Colosseum video out first, then I'll put this video out the next day, and then I'll have more and more to come. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I really appreciate feedback, and I want to help as many of you guys as possible. And if anyone here knows anything about retail Colo RNG, let me know if I wanged anything up. I'm trying to be as thorough as I humanly can be. I know it can be confusing because it's Japanese. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.